Hello, Food for the Poor family. Welcome to At the Crossroads, a premiere episode of a journey that we'll be taking into the lives of those who are making a difference in your life, in my life, and all around the world. As you can see behind me in the Food for the Poor logo, you see the cross there. It's vertical and it's horizontal because there's an intersection that happens when faith and life come together for the difference of so many in the world today. And I am so delighted and proud to introduce you to someone who's become a dear friend of mine and Food for the Poor, and I think pretty much everyone you meet. Major General Bernard, we call him Bern Loeffke, retired U.S. Army General. It's so great to see you.
Well, Chris, we've been together now for a while. You were with me at Fort Benning just last week talking to young officers that are graduating. And for me, it was exciting to be with them because any time that you have an opportunity to talk to 800 young officers about what's important in life, we need to take that opportunity.
Amen, sir. Well, there's been quite a journey between when you first started and then journeying with us. I want to take a little moment right here to just let everyone see some video of you and I being able to go on a few travels over the last few years. We started building these Peacemakers villages all across Latin America and the Caribbean.
Joe Powell's a good friend of mine, and we have been White House Fellows together. And I wanted to honor him by building a house in Jamaica in his name, and which you guys allowed me to do it. So when he heard that I had done that, he says, well, I want to build a house to honor my parents who were born in Jamaica.
Wow. Now tell us a little bit about the White House Fellows for those who aren't familiar with that great organization and your part in it, because you had a very illustrious military career, and then you went on to intern in the White House Fellows. How did that come about, and how we're going to talk about a little bit later on how the founder of the White House Fellows played a part in what you're doing right now with Food for the Poor?
It makes me kind of tremble because I really don't have control of my life. Things are placed in front of me that I have no idea why, but I do know that I believe now in my years of living that I have a mission, and the good Lord has put that mission in front of me. And that's to make sure that we don't have wars, especially with the kind of weaponry that we have now. There is no winner in any war. There is no winner. We're finished. It's like it's been said, I don't know what World War III, what weapons we will use, but World War IV will be back to stick and stones because there are no winners. So my great purpose in life now is to make sure that we have relationships with those who might do us harm.
Hence the Peacemakers villages, communities of hope.
Yeah, Food for the Poor has been kind enough to indulge me in putting the name of this Peacemakers and Villages of Hope, and that's John Gardner, the founder of the White House Fellows. He had said that the role of a leader is to keep hope alive, and I think that the villages that you have helped build do that by putting a roof over their head, by giving them food, showing them how to grow it, and giving them the skill to get them out of poverty. You're giving what the Latinos say, techo, trabajo, y tortilla, the 3 T's. Techo, a roof; tortilla, food; trabajo, work. So I think when I think of Food for the Poor, I think of the 3 T's. You're giving them a roof over their head, you're teaching them how to grow their food, and then you're giving them a skill to walk themselves out of poverty.
There is a story that started in Colombia many years ago, a few years ago, where you were born, and led you to the United States Military Academy at West Point. How did that happen?
Well, first of all, my mother is Spanish origin, but was born in Colombia, and my father is U.S. American, born in Germany, because he did immigrate to the United States and became a citizen. But so I'm a part German and part Spanish. But how did West Point come into this? Is this what you're asking
How
me?
you got into West Point?
Well, I was studying to be a lawyer, and then I got to be a fairly good swimmer. I won the state championships. I don't want to boast, but I won the state championship in New York, and that brought me in contact with Colgate, who used to run the high school championships, and I went to swim there, and that's where West Point saw me, and I started to recruit me. And so that's how I got involved in West Point. The West Point swimming coach said, "We want you."
Graduating from West Point in '57, you became an airborne ranger, a warrior, a soldier, and then a turning point happened while you were in Vietnam.
Yeah, I call it 4, but it's really 3.5 tours in Vietnam. But the last one was the turning point. The first 2 were special forces, mainly with indigenous people. The second one was an advisor, mainly with Vietnamese people. And the third one was a commander of U.S. Army's forces. And that was the turning point in my life, because a young man by the name of Sergeant Larry Morford totally changed my life. He volunteered for all the dangerous missions, and when I asked him, why, if you don't believe in war, are you volunteering for all the dangerous patrols that we have? And he turned and said, "Sir, the job you and I are doing is the job of a beast, and the least beastly of us should be doing it." Amazing that a 19-year-old could come up with a philosophy of that. And not only did he spouted those words, but he lived it, because he was killed leading a patrol. And he was killed 15 days before coming home. And that's what turned my life. I never had met anybody like that. He's influenced me more than any general or any preacher. Larry Morford is my guiding light. So I did go to medical school and became a medical officer and spent almost 9-10 years going back and forth into Africa and the Middle East as a medical missionary. But my history with China is very intimate. My roommate at West Point was killed by a Chinese mine, and I was wounded by a Chinese mortar, and then Larry Morford was killed by a Chinese bullet. So I have a lot of Chinese history, but it's all in combat. And I consider them an enemy. And then when the Chief of Staff sends me to China to be the first defense attaché, I said, this must be a comedy for me to be going to China to deal with someone who has been an enemy and wounded me and killed some people that have influenced my life. But when I went to China and I saw the Chinese people as people and not as enemy, and saw that relationships are made one-on-one, I saw that they were just like us. They're good people and they're bad people. And I have met many, many Chinese that I'm very proud to say that they're my friends.
What lesson can we learn that you hope that people can learn from your life? You're working with cadets from West Point now through the Friendship Fund, bringing cadets, taking them into Latin America and the Caribbean, where Food for the Poor works. You're teaching Spanish immersion. You were teaching at Barry University for people in the Physician's Assistance Program, and you're teaching wellness to children so they can teach to their parents. What do you hope that one of these young people in any one of these groups will learn from your life?
Not just one, but many. I have one phrase: teach many, influence many. Teach one, influence many. If you teach one child, like Food for the Poor has given me the opportunity when we go, If you teach that child that preventive medicine and you teach it well, that child goes home because that's what we assign him to do. You go home and teach what you've learned to your parents. So you've taught one child, but he goes home and he teaches parent, mother and father and other siblings. So teach one, really, you're teaching many. So what are you hoping to accomplish? Well, I'm hoping to accomplish that in those many, we can influence them by showing how important it is to be close to people and to help them, especially through healing.
What's next for you?
Next is what I'm doing now, and that is to work extremely hard to make sure that we bring Chinese and Americans together so that we don't have a conflict where there are no winners, only losers. So where's the story of my life? However many days the Lord chooses to give me, I will spend in trying to bring China and the U.S. together. I wanted to end it with this. The first time I was in China, the Chinese had a hard time trying to pronounce my name. They would say Loeffke, Loeffke, Loeffke. They couldn't pronounce Loeffke, and they came out with Loeffke. So I've used that from then on, Loeffke. And I use that beautifully because in Chinese it sounds very nice. I de yao shi, and they love it because they remember it right away. And so love is the key to friendship. And how do you express love? By caring for others. So I can end it there.
Amen. Thank you so much, sir. Don't forget, you can hit like, share, and subscribe in that order. Tell us that you like what you hear today. Subscribe to our page, and please share it with as many people as you can.
At the Crossroads is a production of Food for the Poor,